How many types of speeches are there? There are only 3 types of speeches. The persuasive speech, the informative speech, the introductory speech, and the proclamation. That's 4, isn't it? All right, I'll start again. There are 4 types of speeches: the persuasive speech, the informative speech, the introductory speech, the proclamation, and the instructional speech. There are 5 types of speeches: the persuasive speech, the informative speech, the introductory speech, the proclamation, and the instructional speech, and the acceptance speech. All right, forget it. We'll just start over. We'll start again. Ready? Okay. Did you know that there are a bazillion types of speeches? Yes, and you could organize and classify and reclassify them forever. A lot of people will say that there are only 3 or 4 main types of speeches, but I think we can broaden that out to talk about, let's say, 8 different types of speeches. Number 1 is the introductory speech. Sometime in your life you will be called upon to introduce another person or perhaps a group of people. You may even be asked to introduce yourself. People will often say to you, "Tell me about yourself," and it's good to be prepared for that. The second type of speech is the informative speech. Not surprisingly, the purpose of this speech is to enlighten the audience. This is what teachers do every day. The presumption is that the audience is uninformed and the speaker will edify them. The third type of speech is the persuasive speech. The goal here is to win a presumably skeptical audience over. Much of this speech will still be informing the audience, but the goal will be to drive the audience to action. It may be to support a cause or a candidate, but most often the speaker wants the audience to buy something, or at least buy into something, buy into an idea. Basically, it's a sales pitch. The fourth type of speech is the proclamation. This may be grandiose, like announcing whether the groundhog has seen its shadow. Or it may be very sentimental, such as the dedication of a new monument. Hear ye, let it be known far and wide that I am a very pompous speaker. In this case, you're probably not telling the audience anything they don't already know, but you are affirming what everyone already believes. Speech number 5 is the instructional speech. This is a how-to speech. It usually involves steps. You'll say something like, step 1 is to make sure you have all of the parts. Step 2 is to put the first 2 things together, etc. In this case, the audience will most likely come to learn how to do something. Speech number 6 is the acceptance speech. This happens when you have an honor bestowed on you. There's been a huge proliferation of award ceremonies because it's a great way for organizations to get publicity. This speech might simply be words of gratitude or appreciation, but it's also an opportunity to speak from your heart. Speech number 7 is the entertaining or motivational speech. In this case, you simply want to inspire or amuse your audience. This is what performers like stand-up comedians or MCs or storytellers do. The emphasis in this speech is mostly diversion or humor. There is no persuasion here. This speech will almost always be to a willing crowd. The last speech that I want to discuss is the debate. There are at least 15 different kinds of debate, but they all involve multiple speakers taking on different sides of an argument. Formal debates most often take place in academic, legal, or political arenas that have rigid rules, but informal debates can happen anywhere. I have debates with my teenage son all the time. That's because he's wrong about everything. So you will likely notice that many of those speech types are similar or will overlap with each other. Maybe you'll need to inform your audience before you can persuade them. Perhaps you want your proclamation to be entertaining. We absolutely could go on forever parsing out the various types of speeches, but perhaps the most important thing is to look at what they all have in common. They all come back to that rhetorical situation. All speeches are about delivering a message to an audience with the expectation that the audience will be changed in some way. The type of speech varies according to how you want your audience to react. For example, I want you to recommend this video to a friend and tell them how brilliant I am. And then you can go on and send me a thank you card, perhaps, or send me gifts, or just like put out a full page ad.